He said, "Hey, we're starting."
Yeah, man. Dang.
He said, "I ain't even getting the little clapper, nothing
Nothing.
yet."
I ain't getting no clicky clack.
Man, we ain't got no clapper.
Dang.
Now you want to
Yeah. Come on, man.
Make
Square
sure
us away, bro.
Make
Square us away.
Make sure all this is in the podcast too, Josh.
Yeah, please. He ain't checked nobody's collars or nothing.
Right.
Golly.
Oh yeah.
My mind said, "Let's go, action."
Yeah, you just
On that,
hit that record
on the
button.
face side.
Nobody got a warning.
Josh, you get that script or the what we're talking about today?
I
Did
did.
yeah.
I mean, he just showed me a little bit, but I'm good.
And we right off the top.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
One take Drake.
One take Drake. We right off the top.
You need it, I got it for you.
You did it once, you did it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
You got to be authentic anyway.
Right.
Ain't nothing but answering the question and
Yeah.
being honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I was gonna say you media trained, you be all right.
Yeah. You got a genetic education.
You did great. You did great on that that television interview too.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
phenomenal. Phenomenal job.
JB, when you want your picture?
We alive.
All right, gentlemen, the time has come, man. We are here, Levels Pro Elite. All right, with our guest, my man Josh Morgan.
Yeah,
sir.
yo.
All right. Yeah.
You already know.
DMV's Legend.
Legend.
Man. I
Legend,
appreciate
bro.
you guys taking the time out of your Saturday to just come in and put on a show with us, put on a show for us, and most importantly, put on a show for the DMV, because that's really what we have coming up. Eddie, you've always been a spearhead in the community, man. So I'm gonna let you kind of take the dialogue and let the community know exactly what we're doing in here in a couple weeks, in about 6 weeks, if I'm counting correctly. Let the community know what we're collaborated on. Let them know what we have planned here next month in what we're calling a couple of things: Green Day, May Day, somebody's day. But I know that the area is going to have a day to celebrate when we bring the community together. So go ahead and touch on that a little bit.
Well, I think first and foremost, thank you guys for having us back on the show. Levels AI, #1 in the country, #1 in DMV, recruiting platform, so forth, so on. But we're going to be hosting the Nova Showcase on May the 12th, as well as May 23rd. The May the 12th version of it will be an open, so basically anybody can come in the DMV area. That'll be hosted in the Ashburn community, I think Brambleton Park, I believe it is. And then on the May 23rd, which will be the final day of Green Day, the recruiting cycle, which this is it, guys, all high school student and athletes. This is kind of your last chance, university type situation here, where you guys get an opportunity to come out there and showcase your skills. On that May 23rd date, where Levels AI, Pro Elite, Mace Training, many other sponsors, Coach Josh, many other NFL legends will be going out there, basically putting you guys through a battery of drills to hopefully showcase your skill set so you can earn that money, man, at the end of the day. And I'm not talking about NAL, I'm talking about academic scholarship money. Because at the end of the day, football still is a vehicle to opportunity, right? And that's really what we want to create for you guys, is give you guys a chance to really showcase your skill set at Flint Hill High School on May 23rd, alongside with the amazing Coach Kirk Peterson. Thank you for providing the space for us to be able to host this in the community. And as we always say, man, we're here to give back. That's what Levels AI does. That's what Mace Training does, Pro Elite, all of our amazing NFL legends. That's really why God has blessed us with the opportunity to do what we do, is to give back to you. So,
yeah, I very well said. And so there's going to be 2 in May. There's going to be one on you said the
May 12th.
The 12th,
which is the open.
That's the open one. And then we said that we're going to run one on the 23rd, That's going to be Flint Hill, a little bit more exclusive,
Yep.
right?
Coach's invite.
Coaches invite. That's where we're going to see a little bit more of college coaches be there.
Yep.
Be there in attendance and present. Hopefully, people are getting their one-on-one interviews. Some people may even get that one-on-one workout.
Correct.
But most importantly, I know that when we were building this thing, we wanted it to just be more than just like a meat market.
Absolutely.
Right? We wanted it just to be more than just a showcase.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's some substance.
Right. From former players' perspective, we felt like a lot of people that were doing it were just kind of running this mold of like, invite kids out, show them what, let them compete,
Yep.
put on a spectacle, right? But realistically, it wasn't conducive to anybody's recruiting
Right.
process, right?
Right.
And what we're really trying to do is and no shade, right? No shade at what people are doing. But when you've been through the process and when you've
Right.
actually gone through the high school process and the NFL readiness process and then preparing for the NFL season, in your case, right, Josh? And then preparing kids for the next level, which what all of us are doing right
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
You kind of see a full scope process of what these kids are experiencing, what they're exposed to. And so we really tried to emulate that in the
Right.
community. Not only just the 40, the vertical,
Right.
the shuttle, not only just the one-on-one pass rush or the routes on
Yep.
air or like how pretty do you look when you run your dig route,
Right.
right? But really honing in on the teaching portion,
Yep.
what it means to become eligible, what the transfer portal and the climate is like, what it
Right.
means to invest in yourself as a person and as an individual, the compliance portion of it,
Right.
What is NIL and what are
Right.
you entitled to? What are you not entitled to? Right? What's the reality versus what are people perceiving on Instagram?
Correct.
And so we really wanted to build a community environment that brought kids in and educated them on the
Right.
process and then said, hey, show us what you got.
That's right.
Show us what you got. And maybe you went through something different, Josh, but I don't ever remember anything like that when I was going through my recruiting process. And I remember when we interviewed you a couple of years ago, it was a one day or a camp that really changed your recruiting process, wasn't it, Josh?
Yeah, it was. It was Fort Union Military Academy.
Wow.
They put on a combine in the gym down there. That was the day that basically changed my whole trajectory of everything I was doing, because I think I went from having like 30 offers at the time to probably having over 80 offers by the end of that day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just because, I ran a great 40, and Coach Schumann was kind of unorthodox with the way he did
Yeah.
it, because after I ran like a 4.38 40, and everybody was all excited. And then he just kind of threw me a basketball and said, "Go do what you do."
Yeah.
So I just went out there and had
Piped it.
I had a self dunk contest by myself, and was just out there doing all the different dunks I could do and everything.
Wow.
And by that time, I felt bad for my other teammates because it kind of took the crowd away from them, and they started watching their 40s, and they just came over there and started just looking at me, talking to me, and things like that. And it was a great time.
Yeah.
It was a great time, but that's what it was. I wasn't educated on any of that. Like, I kind of went through my recruiting process on my own.
Right.
My father was trying to but he didn't really know.
Yeah.
My father was education. All he knew was go to school, get a good job, work this job. He didn't know anything about the recruiting process or anything like that. So it was a lot of just on my own, just trying to figure it out. And, I went through those situations where every time I took a visit somewhere, they would lie and say I committed to this place and all this and that. I didn't make any commitments at all. And it was a tough situation. I had my learning process where it was like, look, I need to get some representation or get some type of adult in the picture so they could just stop seeing me show up on campus and saying that I committed.
Yeah.
And with those people, my godparents stepped in and they did a great job just studying everything and educating themselves just to speak on behalf, because I didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
I was just trying to go to school. I was trying to use football to get my education and continue to get me a step closer to making my dream come true.
So it sounded like it was layered a little bit for you.
Yes.
On one end, it was like I was being recruited, but it wasn't like I was this explosive 5-star athlete before that combine. And then once that combine happened, it was like, okay, now all eyes are on me, to the point where people are fabricating stories, right? And then on the other end, it was kind of like, you know, I'm going to go through this recruiting process. I'm going to do it on my own. But then when you got that exposure, it was like, okay, maybe I do need a little bit of help, right? Maybe I do need a little bit of mentorship. So it's funny how that a platform like a Combine was able to open up doors for you on multiple facets, but then create self-realization and a humbling process that says, like, you know, I can't do this all by myself, right? And I don't have a clue.
Help.
Right, go ahead, Eddie.
And I was going to make, because you made a really good point, and I think this is one for all the high school athletes and parents out there, maximizing opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, here Josh is, already has, you know, opportunities in front of him, but really understanding the process, maximizing opportunity, but also in that situation being able to, you know, educate himself on that process. And the thing that I was going to tell you too, not just a guy that has, you know, maybe a 4-star or 5-star, but I think these combines present opportunities for guys who may not have been noticed.
Yes.
Right.
Who may not be on the radar.
Right.
You know, you say the why combine is really for the guy who a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is really why, when you think about it, because there's only a handful of guys like him.
All right.
And then there's everybody else.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's just a reality.
And that's just the reality.
Yeah. I was one of the everybody
You know
else.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And then there's everybody else. So really you say, why combine? The combine is for everybody else.
Yeah.
That's really who it's for. It's for the guy who has not been noticed. He's out there working your butt off. You're getting up on a Saturday morning, like I just had a group of kids out there. You're busting your butt. You're doing what you do. Nobody sees you. God sees you, but nobody really sees you. And these platforms give you an opportunity to get noticed.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Or like a guy like myself that I never got to finish a whole high school season.
Right.
Right.
I never finished my whole freshman season, my sophomore season, my junior year, or my senior year. I only got to play 3 games.
Right.
So just even if you are a guy that has that elite level talent, I just never got to finish a whole season.
Wow.
Right.
So that's why schools wanted me to go to Fort Union Military Academy, just to see me play a full football season.
Right.
Wow.
You get
That
what
makes
I'm saying?
sense.
So it's guys like that too that are in situations
beautiful.
like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And with the world of recruiting, the way the world of recruiting works right now is like you need to maximize your exposure because you know you need all the options that you can get.
Yeah.
Right, because the red carpet isn't as rolled out as it was when we were kids, right? Because of the transfer portal.
Right.
I think Calipari, NCAA basketball, he
Yes.
said right now, you know, I'm preparing for a Final Four game or an Elite Eight game, but the transfer portal's open. So me and my coach, while we're preparing for this game tomorrow, we're watching recruiting film, and it's nobody from high school.
Yeah.
It's all the kids that are in the transfer portal.
A lot of
right?
coaches are saying that now.
Yeah.
Like, we're going after transfer portal kids, and they're telling you straight up. So it's like, if you have an opportunity like this combine, like other combines, you need to make sure you get yourself out there and show yourself.
Right.
Because playing a D1 may be your dream, but it's okay to go to D2. It's okay to go to D3. And I always go back to Trinidad, the quarterback from Ole Miss. He was a D2 star, and then he stepped on a D1 stage and almost took his team to the national championship.
Right.
Your route is changing, but you still have the opportunity to go out there and put that film out, and they will find you.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and I would also argue that like a lot of the non P4, the G5 or the D1 AA, D2, D3, a lot of those guys are what's going to be at attendance at these type of combines.
Right.
The P4 guys, they have their pick of the litter, so to speak. So very seldomly are you going to see them extend themselves in May to go to one of these events, but a college or a university or a coach that could help you get to one of those institutions, or I hate to say it, a stepping stone, like, but that's what that's the reality
But
of.
some of them sell it that way too.
Yeah, some of them do sell it that way.
Now, my coaching hat comes on at this moment. and I'm going to share this.
Go ahead, coach.
So if you're a P4 guy and you have, I don't know how many offers. Like, I got a kid here now. He's got 45 offers. Right? Great kid. Humble. But I always tell them, if somebody invites you to something, go.
Go. Got to.
And the reason it is It's out of respect for the sport and the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
And out of respect for the other kids.
Right.
Right? Maybe you already arrived, and maybe you got whatever you got, and you got college is throwing NIL money at you out of wazoo, and that's great. You're blessed, right? But I always say, man, you got to make a significant impact on the game just outside of the game itself. Yeah. And you got to show up to be the person, right? Because you could get there and you could show a different side of yourself that nobody has ever seen in interviews and or talking, encouraging other kids who may not have gotten an offer or may not be where you are. You still have knowledge because you're getting all of those junior day trips and being able to go on these things that a lot of these other kids don't get to expose to. And you have knowledge to give to them. And you say, what can I do? Why you want me there? It's because you can give back too.
Right.
And why not? When do I start giving back? There's no better time than right now.
Yep.
So if we invite you or your coach invites you, go. Not because you want to work out or you may opt out of that stuff, which I understand why, but you can still go and still be present and still be a valuable asset to the other kids and still become a coach.
Right.
Makes sense?
Right.
So don't be that kid.
Yeah. I mean, and it's answering that question, especially from when you're looking at high school recruits. What can you do for me when I can't do anything for you?
Right.
Right. So as a coach, if I'm looking at a kid, what can you do for me right now that I can't, when I can't offer you anything?
Right.
All right. And if you're willing to show up, perform, be a good character kid, right? Show that you're a leader both on and off the field.
Right.
Then you're answering that question immediately.
Yeah.
Right. And if it comes down to you and another guy, and I know you're a character guy, and I know this guy's a PUD, well, you're going to get the scholarship, my guy. Right. And so to your point, Coach, just being present and showing that you have those intangible leadership skills, that you're personable, that you can be the face of an institution, that you do deserve to be invested in with NIL, right? Because you're not just putting on a show for those coaches, you're putting on a show for all the people in the communities that are investing in you eventually. Right. And they're going to figure it out eventually, but nobody's going to want to invest in people who are low character guys.
Correct. And you're setting an example for kids in the lower classes.
Exactly.
Too.
And so these kids who are coming out of high school now, a lot of the guys paved the way for them who are doing it now. And a lot of the guys that are paving the way for them are doing it in the wrong ways that are setting bad taste in the mouth, so that this next class has to kind of overcompensate for the things that this current class is or isn't doing.
Right.
And so what I think we have an opportunity to do is just kind of stop the bleeding of toxicity, and really just teach the new this younger generation of kids, like, hey, the professionalism starts now, and here's what it means. Here's what it looks like, and here's what it means to come out of the DMV and be a high-profile recruit. And I think what we're doing on the back end is really, really great.
Yeah, it is, because you got a lot of kids that just don't understand that the weight that it holds. Because like y'all, both of y'all just alluded to, when you got a kid that gets invited to these camps and does this and that, it's an interview.
Yes.
Right. It's an interview, and you're trying to go on this campus and earn your scholarship. But not only earn your scholarship, but show your maturation.
Right.
Show your maturity level and show that, okay, instead of going to get this 25-year-old out of the transfer portal, come get me right out of high school because I'm ready.
I'm investable.
I'm ready.
Yep.
I'm ready.
That's
I'm
it.
mature enough.
That's it.
You can invest in me. I'm marketable.
Yep.
I'm
Trustworthy.
intelligent. I'm trustworthy. Just go show up. Show that you deserve
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
Instead of we continue to cry, oh, they want these 23-year-olds out of the portal. They want this, they want that. Man, we need more 17 and 8-year-olds that's willing to accept that responsibility and go put on for yourself.
Right.
You performing, and it's your family, it's for the other kids, but it's for you.
Right.
Like, go get what's yours out there, because why not you?
Right.
And I always try to tell them that. Why not you?
Yep.
Because all they're going to do is cross your name out and check somebody else's
That's
name
right.
anyway.
That's right.
So go get yours.
That's
'cause
right.
It's out there for you.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
just show, it's an interview. Show the maturation. Show your maturity.
Yep.
That's spot on.
Because they do want a transfer portal, but they also want the Christian Evans.
Yes.
All right, they want the cheese.
Yes.
Right, they want the kid who's from the area,
Yeah.
state guy, right, 2-star, then 3-star, then 4-star, worked his way up.
Yep.
Right. P4 trench guy as a freshman,
Right.
and he's gonna stay there.
Right.
Right. He's gonna be a program guy.
Right. Yep.
Right. And so to your point, yeah, like they do want the transfer kids, but if you're putting on a performance and you're
Right.
making yourself the obvious choice, I mean, it's easy. I would like to invest in a kid that doesn't have a lot of tread worn on his tires,
Right.
right?
Yes.
If he's doing the right thing, you know. But if I got to go get the old reliable, I will go
Right.
get the old reliable. So it's just a matter of, like you said, maturation, right? Approach to the game,
Yes.
right? How much do you know? What's your football IQ both on and off the field? Can you represent this institution? Because it's just becoming more and more of a professional atmosphere and environment for these kids. That's all it is.
It's a business.
Yeah.
And to your point, you like what you just said. It's like, don't force their hand to go get the old reliable.
Right.
Show up. Be the guy.
Yep.
Let them know I'm worth your investment.
Yep.
Don't worry about over here.
And I think there's going to have to be a college reset at some point. And what I mean by this is at the administrative level too, because the pressure that they apply to these coaches to win football games. Yes, we understand that you're getting paid to do a job and win, but I think you also got to go back to the total picture. You know what I mean? Why are we really doing this? What is sports really about? You know what I'm saying? You got development, which really no more, which is why the portal, outside of COVID, right? The portal now has become more of a quick stock exchange to win now.
Free agency, yeah.
Yeah, it's to win now. It's
Yep.
to get better fast, right? You look at pro sports; they're trying to get better. What now?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. College sports is too, but nonetheless, that's pro and this is college. And my point for saying it is, at some point, there's going to have to be a reset as to what is our bigger why. You know what I'm saying? Are we still in the development business, both on and off the field, or are we now in this fast change environment where we just every year we're going to get the portal and try to win games? Because if it gets to that, it's not sustainable.
Right.
No.
It's not a sustainable model. So we're going to, at some point, we're going to have to go back to the old school that majority of us came up in.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get back to that at some point alongside with managing the money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because when I came in, I still talk to my college coach. We've been on here before. I can still pick up the phone and call Mac Brown today. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful for that because the reality is that he was like a father to me.
Right.
And there's no better feeling as a collegiate athlete leaving your alma mater, Virginia Tech, you know what I'm saying, being a Hokie, being a Tar Heel, you know what I'm saying, being accused, you know what I mean? I don't know y'all
Orange, baby.
Orange.
Orange. You know what I'm saying?
Being accused, right? But the point of the matter is that there's something beautiful about knowing, like, that's my school.
Right. No,
That's
you're
my
right.
coach.
Yeah.
This is home.
This is home.
There's pride in
When
staying
you go,
there.
there's
yeah.
pride when
Yeah.
you go back. If I go back to Tar Heels, my name's still up on the boards, you know, this or that, the other. There's some good feeling about that. Knowing I ain't got to be like, I claim this university, that university.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about my alma mater.
You're not lying, coach.
You know what I mean? So we got to get back. I think the administrators and the people and the decision makers got to get back to development, both on and off field, and figuring out a way to make the money fair across all sides. You know what I'm saying? Get these kids to stay in school, get their education, right? And help and call that place home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a cheese, like you talked about,
Yeah.
the example you said.
Yeah, and then that's kind of where the app meets what we're doing in May, right? Is one of the reasons why we intentionally invented or innovated the app the way we did is because we wanted the kids to tell the AI exactly what they wanted out of an institutional experience, what they wanted out of a coach's experience. But we wanted the coach to tell the platform exactly what they want out of a kid too.
Right.
So there's no discrepancy. All right, you want to go to Texas, but quite frankly, you're just not good enough.
Right.
One, and two, you don't have the physical measurables to go there. Never have. There's never been a defensive tackle for them that's played there that's been 5'10", 285 pounds. So sorry.
And that's okay.
Right? And that's okay. All right. And to be honest, they're not looking for guys like you anyway. However, according to the information we've pulled, here are the universities that are looking for guys just like you.
And it doesn't mean you can't get to Texas.
And it doesn't mean you can't get to Texas. You may just have to go to Texas State. And that's okay. You know?
And even if you can't get to Texas,
Right.
why not go somewhere that's going to play Texas and
Exactly.
beat them?
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly. Right. And
That's
and,
the mentality.
And so you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know who's interested in you if you don't have the tools that are working
Right.
for you. But then you don't know what you don't know if you're not in a physical space learning with like-minded people who are in the same type of environment as you, from the people that have already been through what you've been through.
Right.
Yeah.
And what an opportunity for the area to not only have a tool that is going to help them navigate through the process, but then have resources that are going to be a staple in their off season that's going to continuously educate them on the expectations. And I mean, I'm just so proud of the direction that we're moving in, because when a coach comes to this area to recruit and they know that kids attend our conferences and our combines, they know that they're going to be educated in the process.
Right.
And it really helps us strengthen our bond with the collegiate level as well, because if coaches love what we're doing, they're going to be entailed to join, and they're going to be entailed to come and be a keynote speaker.
Right.
Because believe it or not, they're trying to strengthen their recruiting pipelines too.
Exactly.
Right.
And if we're bringing all the meat and potatoes to one area every single year, multiple times a year, they're going to want to be where the where the buffet is.
Correct.
And I wish. Josh, you had the Fork Union. I had like my junior year was the first year of Nike camp, or the Nike Combine,
Nike.
Spark Combine.
Yep.
Remember that? And I was a 0 star, and I came out of there like a 2.5 star. And that's shortly after that was when Akron and Rutgers came and gave their offers.
beautiful.
But I didn't even know what a combine was, to your point. And when when Coach Skinner said, "Yeah, he's gonna come down there and bring your athletic gear, and we're just gonna run fast, and you're gonna jump high, and you're gonna lift 185 as many times as possible," I was like, "All right, I can do that." And at that point, I had played linebacker, but Skinner had convinced me that I was going to be a very slow linebacker in college, and that I should probably play D line, and he was right. So I was a 0 star, never played D line before, and I went to the Nike Combine, and I just did the best that I could.
That's awesome.
And I was deer in the headlights. I didn't know, it was like Forrest Gump. I just kept running, right? And we came out of the other end successful, but to your point, it really opened my eyes to the process, and it opened my eyes to the potential.
Yeah.
And I don't think that kids see what their potential is until they can come and compete, or they can come and learn, or just be able to size each other up on a competitive scale
and be adaptable.
And
you were adaptable.
Well,
you went from linebacker to defensive line. Be adaptable.
So just being able to come and be on a platform and compete and show out.
That's
that
what
was
it was for me.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I didn't know anything about the combine.
Yeah.
Like you just said.
Yeah.
I just knew whatever he ran, I'm gonna run faster.
Faster.
than
That's
that.
it. That's right. That's
Whatever
right.
how he jump, I'm gonna jump higher.
Yeah.
than
That's
that.
right.
And that's what it was. That competitive,
Right.
that competitive edge.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all it is.
That's really
all
what it
need.
is. I didn't even know how to pass rush then, and we were doing one-on-one pass rushes.
Yeah.
They were like, "All right, one-on-one pass rush." I'm like, "I don't know what that is. I never played D-line."
Get around that guy.
Get around that guy. So I'm like, all right, he doesn't bend well. His hips are too high. He's a back bender and not a knee bender. All right, I think I'm gonna dip. I think I can get under this guy, and that's it. I beat everybody with speed off the edge. Didn't know what I was doing, but I was able to analyze,
That's what's up.
in real time, and but coaches see that.
Absolutely.
Coaches see that. Coaches, fight or flight. Which one do you got?
Yeah.
All right, because if you're a fringe guy but you got dog in you, that's an offer.
That's all that matters most of the time, because you got to think these colleges are very they're confident within themselves.
Right.
So all they want to see is that competitive spirit
Correct.
out of you,
Right.
or that discipline, or they just want to see
Yep.
what they have, because they know when they get you in their program, all of them think, "Oh, I'm gonna teach them the game.
Right.
I'm gonna work on this fundamentals.
We're gonna get them bigger, faster,
We
stronger.
wanna
Yeah.
do all of this.
Yep.
Yep.
I just want to see something in you that's different, that's going to separate you from everybody else.
Yep.
Right.
And
'Cause
most of the time,
And that's where
it.
intelligence kicks in. Right? Like you bend, back bending,
Yeah.
knees not think. Now you're thinking on the fly, and they're picking that up too.
Yeah.
So I wanted to throw that in there.
Because they've done their homework.
Yeah.
They're not stupid. I mean, they got full departments, recruiting departments, and people who watch your tape. They're not stupid. The combine literally just gives them another layer of assessment and evaluation, academically, socially, your social platforms, your combine performances, your game film, and then probably how you pretty much do life, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They know.
That's true.
They know. They've done their homework.
Yeah.
They're not unaware. But to Josh's and Andrew's and Brent's point is, if you don't have competitive drive and competitive spirit, I mean, you're gonna beat yourself.
Yeah.
Because they could have you ranked really high, and then you get there and it's like, oh, this dude ain't a dog.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, because now you can't hide, because now I see like, oh man, that dude is a alpha,
Right.
like straight up, he a straight dog. Or dude's like, his energy ain't there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Does he really love the game?
Right.
Does he have a sense of urgency about him? You know what I mean?
Right.
These things are real good coaches. They can pick up on that stuff.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
It's a feeling.
Yep.
You can't assess it. You just know, man. When I watch that kid, his get off, man, he got different engine.
Yeah.
He got different light in
Got
his
that
eye.
it.
He got an it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he gonna compete.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah. Being first man up, you know, with your regular team or your varsity team is different than being the first man up amongst the elite.
Yes.
Right. And they stick out like a sore
They stick out
thumb.
like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if your team is 5-5 every single year,
Right.
and you're the guy, right? And then you see the guy who's the guy on a 12-0 team every
Right.
single year, and you guys go together, and one just knows how to rise above the
Right.
occasion more than the other. And it could be on the other foot or on the opposite side.
Right.
The guy who's 12-0 every single year may be set in complacency and be
Mm-hmm.
too comfortable. The 5-5 guy may have willed his team to be that 5-5, right? And so they separate themselves in that regard. But what I love about these type of environments is the opportunity for people from all different
Yes.
cloths and
Oh, yeah.
cuts
Yeah.
and right the different parts of nooks and crannies of the DMV, right? Oh, that guy's from the WCAC.
Yeah.
That guy's from the Concord District. Oh, anyway, that WCAC's got it, and then the Concord District
Correct.
comes out and turns it over. Or that guy's from Loudoun and he's from
Yeah.
PG.
Yeah.
PG's got this, and then
Right.
you see
Yeah.
that Loudoun's got some ballers out
Exactly.
there. And I don't think that the area has enough opportunity outside of the football season
Yep.
to see the DC,
Mm-hmm.
Maryland, and Virginia side all come across the bridge collectively to compete on one platform. Because when PG runs their stuff, they run their stuff, right? When Baltimore runs their stuff, they run their stuff, right? When Nova runs their stuff, for whatever reason, we close all the toll roads and we close all the bridges,
Correct.
and we say, don't come over here. We're not
Right.
running anything. We're hiding it from everybody, right?
Not us.
Not us. We want to be able to create a nexus and a citadel and
Right.
a platform for everybody to come. Do you feel like that's important, or do you feel like regionally it's important for us to stay compartmentalized?
I believe
Go
it's
ahead.
important. Just for myself, like just speaking about my upbringing, I didn't even know Loudoun County existed until I got to Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
And that's when I found out, oh, Eddie Royal, you live 30 minutes away from me?
Right.
Like, how come I never even knew?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You would see him on TV and things like that, but I never knew it was
Right.
this close.
Right.
Until it was time to go home and, oh, where you from, Eddie? Oh, I'm from there. I'm going this way. I'm going that way. For real, you live. So things like that, just in that aspect.
Right.
Why not? Because it wasn't that way when I was coming up.
Yeah.
When I was coming up, we
coming across
wasn't
the
coming
bridge,
up
man.
across the bridge at all.
Yeah.
And they definitely wasn't coming to HD Woodson.
Right.
You know, so and for whatever reason it was, but I feel like it is very important for everybody to
Mm-hmm.
open it up to everybody, share the information with everybody.
Yeah.
Because you never know, like, best kid in Baltimore versus the best kid in Loudoun County versus the best kid coming out of DC public schools versus the best kid coming out of the WCAC. Put them on the same field and see what happens.
Right. Right.
You know, let dogs be dogs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let them go out there and compete.
Yep. And let the coaches see the spectrum of talent that are from the area.
Yeah.
You can stay within the Beltway. You can go outside of the Beltway. Regardless, you're going to find dogs
It's dogs here, and it's going to open up the recruitment for everybody.
for everybody. That's right.
Give them a reason to come back.
That's right.
Now we're driving outside of the Beltway. We're coming into the champs. We're
Right.
coming into the Indies. We're going to the Patriots, the Brentsvilles, right?
Yeah.
Or we're going into the city.
Yeah.
Right. We're actually going to go into the city this time, not just ride around the
Around the
Beltway.
city, yeah.
And I think the other element of that too is the collaboration.
Right.
The collaboration piece with the high school coaches, giving them the ability to, because nobody knows their kids better than them.
Right.
And we share this with y'all too, to all the high school coaches in the DMV. We really want y'all to be collaborative effort in this whole process, because you guys are the ones that's doing the work at the end of the day. And, to invite the kids that deserve the opportunities or need the opportunities for platforms like this. And then the other part of it is, again, us being able to collaborate together in our community to bring the entire football community together and give them something that is quality,
Right.
that's done with a spirit of excellence, and something that can bring the college coaches in this community together as a whole as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, obviously pre-COVID, we had PROELITE, and that's kind of what we did.
Yeah.
And obviously post-COVID, we kind of fizzled out a little bit there, but I'm glad that now we have you guys to now be that centric hub, levels now to be that centric hub to where we can now use this amazing technology, use the collaboration efforts, use our experience, NFL legend experience and our influence to be able to now, host this platform, and get the college coaches at the, the P4, D2, D3, JUCO, whatever, all the schools that are out there, so everybody can be a part of this.
Right. Right. And that was one of the biggest things that you touched on, was you wanted to make sure that all the high school coaches were involved in the area.
Yes.
I think too many times there's a fear that if somebody creates something like this, there's going to be poaching involved. There's going to be recruiting involved. There's going to be, oh, he's taking my kids, or he's taking
Right.
my client, or he's taking my. We wanted to make sure that we came from a neutral perspective
Right.
as pro elite and levels, not as pro elite high school and levels high school,
Right.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
We wanted to make sure that we were representing the entire community, right? And so when we put this thing together, we made sure that we put it together with everybody in mind,
Right.
with everybody having access to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when we reach out to your coaches, what it's going to eventually be, it's just going to be an introduction.
Right.
Your school was chosen as one of the schools that, we want to have represented at this combine.
Yeah.
If we name a couple of kids that we would like there, great. If you have a couple of kids that you would like to send
Right.
to us, great. Here's who we have that are going to be in attendance, and here's the itinerary.
Right.
Right.
You got it.
Right. It's going to be the physical part of it, the run, jump.
Right.
Right. It's a little bit of strength part of it. I don't think we're doing the bench though, right? We're not
No,
doing
sir.
the bench there.
Nope.
And then it's going to be a little bit of the competition piece,
Mm-hmm.
where we put on a spectacle. But the most important piece is the
Individual.
individual and the educational piece as
Right.
well. Bringing you guys in an auditorium, teaching you the compliance, the NIL side, the character development side,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm hoping I can get a thumbs up on a couple of the CUSE coaches to come down here so they can be a keynote as
Right.
well, because I think that would be essential,
Absolutely.
for the game. I think that when you put on something like this, it's going to encourage other people to do not only do the same, but it's also going to encourage people to want to collaborate more,
Right.
not only off season, but in the season as well.
Right.
I can see, coaches from QO coming down and
Right.
breaking bread with a couple of coaches down here and saying, man, like, why haven't we put each other on each other's schedule?
Right.
Like, what's going on?
Right.
I can see a couple of collaborations going on where you have inter squad scrimmages being worked out, or
Right.
like, I don't have a game 3, what's your game 3
Right.
kind of thing being looked out. And this is really how you develop programs, right?
Yep.
You want to talk about your program, coaches talk about their programs, kids leaving their programs, and one of those reasons being, well, we don't compete with anybody, or like, I can't put any film on board. Well, these are the opportunities and the platforms where you go and connect with people. So
Right.
you do load your schedule up, right? So you do load your off season up. So you do have a plan for your kids. So when kids move into your neighborhood and are enrolling at your school, and the parents know that, this is what I have envisioned for
Right.
my kid at the next level, if you're able to provide an opportunity in a red carpet in that trajectory, or a smooth runway for them to take off, you become the obvious choice as a coach and as a resource for my kid to stay at your school.
Right.
Now I don't have to look at the school down the street.
Right.
Now I don't have to look at the academy around 495. Right. Now I don't have to look at the big bad wolf from the WCAC.
Right.
Now I don't have to worry about St. Francis coming out and plucking me out of here, right? Because you are providing the opportunities for my kid. I don't have to go anywhere.
Right.
And I think that that's really a lot of why I feel coaches fear to send their kids to
Yep.
these kind of things, is because
Absolutely.
they fear, or they see an environment of scarcity and not abundance, right? The reality is that everyone has an opportunity to put their kids on at the next level. The perception is that only a few people are doing it,
Right.
right?
And to your point, what you're saying, that sometimes you have coaches in situations that just don't have the resources.
Right.
Don't know the information.
Right.
Don't even know the process. They just, probably, and no
knock on
Ain't
them.
no
Yeah.
knock on nobody.
No knock on anybody.
Yep.
But you got some guys that just, they're good managers, but they don't really know the information needed. And that's and I'm excited just for the whole area now, because everywhere I go throughout the area, I see enough coaches that know football and that care and that have that knowledge and that have the resources and have these platforms where you can go out and you can create that red carpet for these kids. But
Right.
now all you got to do is follow these steps.
Right.
Show up, follow these steps, and go be the athlete you are. Take care of your grades on the educational part, but follow these steps as far as sports is concerned, and you go out there and be great. And you got too many guys, like you said, just gatekeeping information.
Yeah.
And it's like, for what? Like,
That's right.
if you have an opportunity, if Eddie's coaching the school, and I have 20 more resources that could probably help
Right.
3 of his kids get in school, why would I keep that from him?
Correct.
Yeah.
It don't do me no good to keep that from him.
Yep.
When I got kids at my school that probably don't even want to go to school for football, what am I saving it for?
Right.
I'm wasting my resources. Like, at this
True.
point, like, just share your resources and collaborate where you could. Let's get all of these kids that have talent in this area out. Let's give them a chance to go experience college on a free education, on a free scholarship.
Right.
Let's give them that opportunity so they could go on that platform, because you never know. What would have happened if, I don't know what would have happened if I didn't get a football scholarship.
Yeah.
I definitely
Facts.
probably wouldn't be talking to y'all now.
I definitely wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd still be, yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's what I would be. We'd be talking about the Iran war right now.
Yeah,
That's
I've
what we'd be
been,
talking
I've
about.
been in the military.
Same.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's why that was the
Yeah, that's it. So, I think that in this area especially, we already know that it's one of the most concentrated areas for recruiting for both basketball and football.
Yeah.
We have the most scholarships given out per capita in the most centralized area in the country, aside from Florida, right, and parts of the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
Okay, but we're talking about one little area, 50-mile radius around DC.
Absolutely.
Okay, the most concentrated, and you got to think, like, when you do a deeper dive into the concentration of where our athletes are coming from, that's even more concentrated.
Yeah.
All right, it's around a specific demographic, or it's around a specific league, or it's around specific academies. And then if you look around there, you start to realize, well, it's even concentrated around the little smaller groups, right? If you go to one region, there's only 3 or 4 schools that are putting out athletes.
Right.
If you go to another region, there's only 3 or 4 schools putting out athletes. Then you start to do like the fine comb, like, where are these athletes really coming from? And you realize, okay, they're being funneled for the simple fact that there's only a few people that know the key, knows the keys to success.
Yep.
And so how do we expand that knowledge so that we can have a mindset of abundance rather than a mindset of scarcity?
Yeah.
Right? How do we allow for football to develop and blossom in the area and really cultivate that spring football type of environment, right? Without having a lot of the powers that be come in and say what we can and cannot do.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? Because that's really what we're talking about, and really what we're heading into. We can create an environment for these kids to consistently compete off the field outside of football season. That doesn't necessarily have to be exclusive to just kids getting recruited. That can be exclusive to the entire area.
Right.
And I think that we're really starting to develop something great. And I think we're moving in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Man. I really, really, really do. Do you feel like, do you guys feel like this area like could do more for the spring ball? Or like there was a conversation that happened earlier this week. I think Sports Plug or 757 ended up bringing up the conversation about spring ball. And I don't think DC or Maryland has spring ball. I know Virginia doesn't have spring ball. But do you think that that's something that could be possible in the area, even if it's non-affiliated with any of the leagues, if it's like third-party ran or third-party owned, where people, join a specific league and then you're just receiving the clinics and you're just receiving the, do you think like that's possible?
A 6-week schedule would be fine too.
Yeah. Well, I think that, I think less is more, right? And so at the collegiate level, you only get 20 practices.
Oh, okay.
Right. You get 20 practices in a spring game. So what does that look like in the spring, and could we emulate that?
I'm gonna let you take it first, and I'm gonna take it second.
I think we can emulate it, but then you got so much 7-on-7, so much flag going on.
Right.
That is just gonna be hard to compete. Like
I agree.
That's a lot of wear and tear on the body.
Yeah.
Even though they're not getting hit, like you still running routes, you still on that turf, you still playing football, you still falling. You still, you still want your body to be fresh in the season.
Yeah.
So, and it's a lot of people doing this flag.
Yeah.
Man,
Everywhere.
Yeah.
That's speaking my language.
I think it can work, but then we got to shut down all this.
Yeah.
All the flag. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
It's
makes sense.
You got to pick a struggle.
Pick your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Again, coaching this sport for all these years, I'm going because you're taking me back in my mind as to the green days. We got to go back to green days. You only get so much time on field, right?
Right.
And that time is to develop. I have to develop my student athletes. And if I'm giving up time to develop them in the off season, we're not going to be ready for end season.
Yeah.
My high school time as a coach, I have to be able to have that time to be able to have them green days, to have them get in some pads a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And we ain't obviously click-clacking, but you know what I mean? Get on some 7-on-7 versus some we call inter-conference against some schools that we agree to compete against each other, which I think that builds community, right? And I just think it builds competitive nature. It builds, the kids talking a little back and forth over the summer. Man, we beat y'all, you know what I'm saying, in green days, at pit camp, whatever. You know what I mean? There's something to be said about that because I used to love that. I used to love that part. In fact, the Green Day period, us getting in a van, driving up to Penn State, getting in a 7-on-7.
Oh, man, those were fun. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting in a van, taking my kids up on a bus or a van.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's something about that bond. We're going back to coaching and development.
Yeah.
At the high school, the college, and the pro level.
Right.
There's something to be said about being in those vans on them long trips, going up to Penn State, going to compete, going to Maryland, going to Virginia, going to all these different schools and going to the 7-on-7s as a high school and going to compete against other high schools. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I still got a trophy over there. I'll show it to you after this, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? We went up to Penn State and won the whole thing. You know what I mean? Well, we were playing against the Mathers and other schools, and it was, you got down, you played X amount of games when you got there, and there's something to be said about that.
Yep.
Because we're bringing the Virginia tag and the Virginia and Maryland, guess who was at the end? The DMV was at the end.
Yeah.
At the end of a Penn State.
There's pride in that.
There's pride in that, bro.
Yeah.
We had the Mather, we had Stonebridge, and we wound up winning it by, little thing, right? But it was a deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So but we bought that DMV brand. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So we have that brand of football down here. We have that brand of coaching. We have that brand of football community. We have that brand of, just that energy like that. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that we don't want to lose that, man.
I don't want to lose it
We
either.
don't want to lose it. You know what I'm saying? And so going back to your question, how much is too much? I think the high school coaches need those green days to develop their kids, to get them ready for season. And then summer belongs to whatever they want to do. You know what I mean? Because at the end of summer, you got to get your butt in shape for football. Yeah. But I think you do need to be touching that field.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's my comment on it.
Okay. I want both of you guys to talk a little bit about if you do receive an email, if you're a coach that does receive an email or a kid that does receive an email from us, getting invited to this camp or this combine, and you want to join, you're interested, what can you do to prepare in the next month for something like this? What would you be doing or mentoring your kids to be doing to prepare for something like this?
My first thing is skills and drills are just, like I said, I just literally came from the field. And, there are phases in development, off-season development. You know, we just came off our what I call a strength development phase, right? That's where we're trying to get stronger in the gym. The next phase right now, the commanders report on Monday, right? Most teams, if you had a new head coach in the league, they had started 2 weeks ago. But Monday is the day of kickoff, 10 weeks of all season, right? OTAs, right? And so what I would tell kids is, make sure that you're getting field time, like skills and drills time. Get with your high school coaches or your positional coaches, get that skills and drill time, because you need to be doing that part, because you want to show up well in the football arena of that piece. The other element of it is this: you have to run. People say max velocity.
Oh, man.
You got to run.
Yep.
I'm not necessarily saying track. I told kids, like, if you look in this space in this gym, we have 30 yards of space, right? You got to be doing 100-yard, like when I say all-out sprints, max velocity sprints, because your fiber needs to get used to running, you know, not long distances, but 100-yard distances, because you want to strengthen your hip flexors, your groin. You want to strengthen your hamstrings. And the only way you do that to run is to run fast. You need max velocity sprints. And so you need change of direction drills. You need this stuff in order to not just be in good shape, but you need it to run fast. And the only way you do it is you got to practice running fast by doing max velocity sprints. Not 100 of them, not 10 of them, but at the end, you know, do maybe 3-4 max velocity sprints after a good warm up, warm your body up, and then get into your change of direction, your football stuff at the end. You know what I mean? So I would encourage you to do that, you know, just from a, you know, overall design, because you're not going to run fast at a combine if you haven't been practicing running fast.
Right. Yep.
And treadmill work ain't going to do it.
If you don't train fast, you're not going to run fast.
You're not going to run fast.
Yeah.
Just like Usain Bolt, them ain't going to wake up tomorrow. I mean, he's fast, but he'll run a lot faster if he's been practicing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But you, Josh?
For me, I would definitely, I would consume football, like study your craft.
Yeah, beautiful.
Study your craft. You can't just go out there and just expect study your craft, learn different drills.
Right.
I would even email a coach back, what drills are we going to be running? You know, and start looking at those things.
Right.
Really, like, show interest in your craft, study your craft. But to Eddie's point, you got to be in some type of condition.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
How you expect to compete and you out there tired after 3 reps?
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah, get your butt in shape.
Right.
Study your craft, work on your craft.
Yeah.
But, man, just go out there and get ready to compete. Like, you know, I tell kids all the time, man, if Eddie's the best linebacker in all of America, right, and he's tired after 3 reps, guess what I'm going to do?
I'm going to wear Eddie out.
I'm going to wear Eddie. You know what I'm saying? So,
Don't show weakness around me, man.
He
I'm
gonna
sorry.
get some act right.
at the end of the day, man, just get your butt in some shape.
Right.
Get
That's
out
it.
there and compete, because, like I said, you might show up and you might be the best athlete on the field, but if you the worst condition athlete, then you just lost your scholarship on.
And to top on what you said, not just studying your craft, learn your coverages, learn your leverages, right? Because you got both sides of the ball. So it's like, understand what you're going to do when you get out there.
Right.
So when you're training with a purpose.
Right.
And that's what I mean, consume football. Like, be able to get with a college coach, be able to get with any coach and talk football.
Right.
Yep.
Be able to get on the board. Somebody might have a whiteboard out there and hang your whiteboard. Draw up your favorite plays.
Facts.
And be able to talk through it. All right, what coverage are you going here? What's your first read in this coverage?
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
If you're on defense, what's your drop? What's your
Right.
zone? You know, what are you doing in this coverage?
Yep.
If they run this play, what are you doing? How you want to adjust?
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean, consume football.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of people that they think they can go out there and just be
Just go.
He preached.
Yeah.
No, you got to be able to talk through what you're doing, because we're not just out there running the lines on the paper.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's adjustment. It's things we got to do. Like,
Hey, what's it did, coach?
Yeah. You're right. For me, especially from a lineman perspective, is go there in shape.
yeah.
Somewhat in shape.
Yeah.
Because you can't do any of the stuff that you just mentioned if you right. You're not going to remember the snap count. You're not going to go full effort. You're not going to remember the drill that you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
You're not going to remember anything from the seminar. You're not going to answer any questions appropriately. All right. You're not going to be first in line.
Yeah.
You're going to be counting how many people until I got
Yeah.
him in third. Okay, 1, 2, 3. That's what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you go in shape, okay, you can control the rest.
Yeah.
All right. If you have a second wind, or if you're not gassed, you can control your attitude, your effort, and your enthusiasm.
Right.
All right. So for me, it was just that I went to that Nike camp, that Spark camp, in shape.
Facts.
All right. And you know, you have brothers coming off there,
Huffing and puffing.
2-3 months off of basketball season,
Yep.
haven't hit the weight room yet. You know, dudes coming off the bus smelling like the weekend.
Yep.
You know, and it was my time to shine. So yeah, use that opportunity to take advantage and put on a showcase for what you've been doing this offseason. Most importantly, don't come out of shape.
Yeah.
Do not come out of shape.
You know what I tell them? I said, lifestyles of the rich and famous, man. when they come out on my fields and they be out of shape, I said, lifestyles of the rich and famous.
And you'll know when Greg Fender puts you through that
Oh,
warm up,
man. You
you're
better
going to
say
know whether or not you're ready.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So just really, really excited for the opportunity for all these guys.
It's going to be beautiful.
What advice do you have for the parents and the high school coaches? You can answer in two different answers, but what advice do you have for them when they're looking into stuff like this during their kids' recruiting process, when they're prepping their kids for this type of combine or event? What do you tell them?
I'm real simplistic on that. I always say prospect camps. That's the way to go. Because I mean, if you really want to gain access, because again, your green day period is your recruiting cycle. Coaches are back on the road, right? Soon as spring ball's over.
Right.
You know, that April, whatever date it is, and then to the 23rd of May. So I always tell kids, get your one-day camps now. Get signed up for those one-day camps. Go to the P4 schools, because typically there'll be about 23 to 30 schools there represented in most of those schools. Maryland's just not going to be Maryland there. So Maryland's going to invite Townsend, and other schools are going to be at those camps. So go to those one days. That's my charge. And the only reason I say this is because you want to get in front of coaches.
Yes.
Who's going to be making the decisions on you getting a scholarship opportunity, or the coaches? And a lot of these college coaches, especially head coaches, they don't go on the road, and they don't want to see kids, because Josh could be a top recruiter in the area, right? And he could go and be like, hey, he could come back and be like, hey, coach, I found one down at such and such. And the head coach may still be, hey, get him up to what? Get him up to camp, because I want to see him.
Right.
Because and people are like, man, well, I got to go to camp. Because some coaches just want to see who you are. They want to meet you. Josh said this earlier. They want to know who you are, not just what you can do. You know what I mean? And I think there's something to be said about that, is that, you know, I get to see the person, I get to see the man, I get to see the human being, get to see the leader, I get to see that individual who, you know, like, man, like, that kid's a really good kid. I get a sense about it. You know, you're around somebody. You tell if they're good or bad kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can get a sense about who that person is.
Yeah.
Because that tape is not telling me who you are.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That tape ain't telling me. It's telling me how good you are.
It's a highlight.
But it ain't telling me who you are.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so when you think about bringing a kid in, that's why I tell the parents, man, go over there, show them who you what. He said it. That was the nugget. Go show them who you are and be confident in that. He said it earlier in this podcast. That's the nugget. You know what I'm saying? Go show them who you are. You know what I'm saying? Both on and off the field.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
They want to see you at these camps. They want to see you introduce yourself to everybody, dapper everybody
Right.
up, smile, laugh, engage.
Right.
And then they want to go see you kill everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what they want to see.
That's it.
They
That's
want
it.
to see the interchanging.
Yeah.
That's the
wanna
facts.
see
They want to
you
see the
go.
psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wanna
Yeah.
see, oh, yeah, we
Yeah.
having a good time. Let's go. Oh, Brent, man,
Gentlemen.
you ran a great route. Watch this route.
Right.
Then that
Right,
play.
right.
Watch this route.
Turn into a
Man,
murderer.
you a
That's
great,
right.
you the best DB I ever seen. Watch this though. You get what I'm saying? They
Right.
wanna see that.
Absolutely.
You know, and just to your question on the parents, I would encourage the parents not to look at the price, not to look at the distance,
Great.
but just look at your kid and try to invest in your kid. Try to invest in your child, because
That's
so many parents see it and, oh, we got to drive an hour away. We got to drive 45 minutes away. Oh, we have to pay this much, this amount of money. If you don't have the money, reach out, send a coach an email. Look, we struggling.
Yeah.
Be honest about your story. Plenty of coaches would love to
Plenty.
help. It's a lot of help
We
out
would.
here financially. Like, we would love to help.
Facts.
Yep.
But don't remove your child from being seen just because you don't want to get up in the morning and drive that far. You don't want to pay that price. That might be the only day that your child can see this many coaches and can have this opportunity to change his life, to get that free education. Because if it's a money issue, you definitely want to get your kid a free education.
Right.
You don't want to pay Saudi May.
That's right.
You don't want to do that. So just really just embrace that opportunity and don't sleep the day away. Don't say, oh, no, we was going to a party or I had this plan or that plan. Just really try to believe in your child and invest in your child.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, just get up and really go out there and get him there. Get him there on time. Make sure he's ready and give him a chance.
That's right.
Give him a chance to make his dream come true. Because that may be the day that changes his life.
Exactly.
That's beautiful, Josh.
And to hop on your point first, Eddie, you're absolutely right. Because at the end of the day, the D-line coach at Chattanooga could be the D-line coach at Tennessee the very next year. So take your one days because the coach's environment is the revolving door never stops, right? And my D-line coach, Derek Jackson went to 5-6 other places, and now he's at Louisville right now.
Right.
So he went from Cuse, downgraded, upgraded, downgraded, upgraded. Now he's a DC at Louisville.
Wow.
Right. And so it's a revolving door. If you don't give an institution an opportunity when you're in high school, you may run out of those type of lives, or you may have burned that bridge for when that coach moves up because he's trying to progress in his career as well.
Right.
Right. And then to your point, Josh, absolutely. You pay the $60 and the $600 now so you can avoid the $60,000 later. Right. And that's where it makes sense.
Yep.
It makes sense to pay $60 for gas now and, $600 for this 1 week camp.
Right.
Right. Or you can not pay it now and then, have your kid pay $60,000 with 25% interest later on.
Right.
For
right.
over 4 years.
Over 4 years. So it's choose your hard.
Right.
Right. And I would thank God my parents chose their hard back then and chose to struggle while I was in my teenage years. Otherwise I'd be struggling right now. So you hit it right on the head. Invest in your kids. Do the hard stuff now, just like an athlete. Do the hard stuff now so you can reap the rewards later. Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
Man.
So
That
one
was
of the
great.
things you mentioned, both of you actually mentioned this, is how you show up. And it's not just the athletic, it's not just the personality. They're looking at the smallest things.
Right.
And I was watching a recruiter talk, and she's like, I literally scratched a girl right off of my recruiting list because she was walking up, she said hi to her friends. I was like, okay, cool. And then she threw her Gatorade bottle in the trash, and it missed. And she looked at it, and then she kept walking, and she's like, that right there told me everything I need to know about you, and scratched it off.
Yeah.
So the little things do matter, too.
Yeah.
Picking your trash up, throwing it away.
Yes.
How you act in front of these coaches are going to tell them what kind of person you are.
Correct.
Don't wear the Nike ski to the visit.
Right.
Don't wear the Nike Tech. It's 80 degrees outside.
Correct.
Why you need the Nike Tech on? Like, don't show up just
It's a
trying
job
to look
interview.
like, no, man, it's an interview.
Right.
All that, put on some athletic gear.
Right.
Put on the school you're going to. Oh,
Right.
you're going down to VTech. Shameless plug. Put on some VTech clear. You know what I'm saying?
I make sure I have some Syracuse gear for you guys when I get
Right.
there.
Just put on some look like an athlete, you
Yeah.
know, versus looking like you trying to be this gangster that you not.
Yeah.
Like, just go out there and you trying to be an athlete. They recruiting, they brought you here because you're a great athlete.
Right.
Show them you're a great person. Stop trying to look like something you're not.
Yep.
You walking around looking like this for what?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's another reason that they scratch you off their list.
Yep.
Like, why are you showing up? You got a Nike ski on. It's
Right.
80 degrees.
That's so
80
true, man.
degrees.
That's so true.
You got Nike Tech on. It's 80 degrees.
Yeah.
outside.
Everybody
It was sauna suit.
everybody who looks cool is eligible to go to college, right? But only 1% is eligible to play football at college. Right?
And I tell these kids all the time, and I know I'm being silly right now. Man, listen, these kids, I was like, you 4 or 5 stars, but you don't understand is, as soon as you step on campus, all them stars go
Go
away.
away. That's right.
All them stars. They might be whining, dining, doing all that stuff right now. As soon as you walk on campus,
Gone.
everything start all over.
All over.
That coach you gonna walk down the hallway. He gonna walk right past your tail. And you gonna be like,
Coach, what's
what?
up?
You gonna be like, what's up, coach? He gonna look at you.
Stop
walk
jumping
right
off.
by yourself.
Stop jumping off sides, freshman.
Yeah, stop jumping outside. That's what you're gonna get, and that's gonna be the real talk. That's what you're gonna get. You gonna get the real, because right now it's not real. What they doing right now, the most of y'all, man, they're recruiting you.
Yeah.
Once you get to college, now you got to show them that you were worth recruiting.
That's right.
That's what the deal is, because it is a business. It is a real business. You guys are getting paid now. We didn't have the pleasure and fortune and opportunity to get paid. You know what I'm saying? At least not legally. You know what I'm saying? At any rate, there's no here nor there. You know what I'm saying? Point of the matter is that y'all are legally getting paid now. And the deal is that if I make an investment in somebody, I'm looking for a return on my what?
Absolutely.
Investment. So you ain't got time to be wasting time in college and now.
And that's business.
It's a business. They're gonna recruit right over you. They don't really care anymore. Because for now it's like you either getting it done or you're not. And just because you're in high school and you might be the dog right now, when you get there, you gotta understand you are now in the business.
Yep.
You're in the business of football. And it ain't no game. It's real time, real deal life. So you might as well prepare yourself now as a professional to understand how to carry yourself both on and off the field. And if you don't know how to do that, it's going to be a really tough time for you.
And congratulations for making it, because now I'm looking at replacing you with the next class.
Right.
So you still got to work.
Yes.
Right.
Because that's their job. Their job is to get you there and then find somebody to replace you.
Replace your tail.
And find everybody else that's going to replace you. And you just can't, like Eddie said, you can't get attached to the emotions of the recruiting process. Like, you can't get attached to any of the emotions of it. You got to go there, and you got to continue to grow. You got to continue to learn, be a sponge.
Right.
And you got to outwork everybody every day. Every day. That was my whole mindset when I came to school. I could went anywhere.
Yep.
You know, and I picked Virginia Tech just because 3 of my teammates were down there, and I wanted to try to win a championship in college like I did in high school with my teammates.
That's what's up.
But when I got down there, I was like, man, look, I love my teammates. I'm a big team guy. Probably too unselfish as a wide receiver.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't the throw me the ball type of guy unless it was time to make a play. But I want everybody to eat. I want to see everybody do great. But when I got down there, it was just like, look, okay, we got Eddie Royer from right here. We got, 3 other seniors in front of us. And we got other guys, juniors, and everybody else that's in front of us. And you got to go in there with the mentality like, look, they either going to watch me play or they going to play beside me. You know, and once you go in there with that work ethic and that type of study life and that type of just everything, you're going to go out there and you're going to perform how you're supposed to perform.
Right.
Because that mindset alone going to hold you accountable in the weight room, going to hold you accountable in study hall, going to hold you accountable with conditioning and everything else. And you just going to grow with that obsession. Like, I got to outwork everybody, and I want to be one of the best. So with that being said, once you get there, now you give them the coach a reason that, oh, what's up, man?
Yeah.
I did a great job recruiting you. I did a great job with you, man. I'm going to go back to your school and try to find
somebody else. That's right.
You open the door for the next kid.
That's right.
You open the door.
You hit it on the head right there. I mean, when you show up on campus, you're a notch on one of those coaches' resume.
Yeah.
Whoever is in charge of your region of recruiting, you're a notch on their resume. If you don't pan out, that's a bad notch.
It's a bad notch.
That's a bad notch on their resume. That is going to determine the difference between whether they get a contract extension and have to relocate their entire family across the country to another job, or if they're staying and that coach's daughter is not pissed at him because she can go to their senior prom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is the type of impact you have on families. That's the type of impact that you have on these coaches' livelihoods. And the bigger question is am I going to rely on a 16, 17, 18-year-old to help me determine my trajectory, or I'm going to rely on these older kids?
Yeah.
And if we're developing the culture and the environment that says, no, the DMV kids are ready, we're ready to go now.
Right.
That's what I'm really proud to create with you guys.
Yeah,
That's what I'm really proud to create with you guys. It's going to be a great environment. I think there's so many coaches who are doing it the right way, but I think that when we put it all together and we create the community and put the stamp on it, and really, really drive the area into production, I think nothing but good is going to come out of it. I think nothing but good is going to come out of it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to touch?
Nah, man, that was amazing. I think there's a lot of key information and a lot of things that kids needed to hear, and especially hearing it from 3 guys that played in the league, 3 guys that played at the college level. These are things I wish I knew. I didn't know anything that y'all just talked about growing up. I've learned so much in the process with levels and with dark visors that I didn't know at all. So now me having a kid, having a boy, I'll be able to funnel him and send him on the right direction and spend that 600 so I can save that 60,000 later. Right?
Amen.
So I just really hope people really pay attention to what was said and actually understand how to benefit and use this information to help their child.
Yeah.
And I want to see this area be the best. I want to beat the Floridas. I want to beat. It's competition. It's built into all of us, but we have it here. And the fact that we want to bring everyone together, I think, is the best thing.
Yeah.
And I want to just give a shout out to Levels again. And remember, the Combine Showcase will be happening here on May 12th and May 23rd. Location here in the Ashburn, Brambleton area. You'll have that information. They'll be posted here soon. And the coaches invite only showcase on May 23rd, which will be happening at Flint Hill High School. Look for that information. High school coaches are really excited to partner with y'all regarding y'all amazing kids, y'all campuses, to get you guys kids out to that day, that one-day event on the final day of Green Day period for college recruiters. So we're excited to provide this platform for you guys, not only the high school coaches, but for the amazing high school athletes, student athletes in the area. And we look forward to partnering with y'all to make this a great experience for these young men.
Yeah. And if you haven't already had your athletes download Levels Recruiting, go on the Apple iOS store and go on the Android or Google store and download Levels Recruiting. It's the only recruiting app driven by AI, one where kids can tell the platform exactly what they want out of a recruiting experience. And a coach can tell the platform exactly what they want out of a recruiting experience. And the AI will actually connect those people together based on their own preferences. Not only that, but it would also show you your efficiencies and deficiencies based on your age group, your position, and it will connect you with resources like Eddie, like Josh in the area. Absolutely free. And not only want to mention that the app is free, but the Combine is also going to be free for kids. Yep. I know a lot of people pay an arm and a leg to attend these one-a-day events, but just to let you know, if you are paying for these type of one-day events, coaches will not show up. It's against the NCAA rules.
Correct.
If you are paying for a one-day event, college coaches will not show up. So it's why we kept it open. It's why we kept it free for both combines, so we can guarantee that coaches will be there. Gentlemen, I appreciate your time, man. Always great to play with you guys on Saturday, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you guys.
You
Thank
already
y'all.
know.
All right, Levels out.